DAOs, Decentralized Autonomous Organizations. DAOs have been the talk of Cryptown for the past few months, and I can't stop but wonder what would happen if entrepreneurs all around the world started launching businesses as DAOs instead of corporations or partnerships. Would the next Elon Musk or Jack Dorsey or Mark Cuban start up a DAO instead of a corporation? And if they do, why would they do it? And how would our world be different? Those are some of the questions we're gonna try to answer on today's CoinMarketCap episode. My name is Kay, and here at CoinMarketCap, we are on a mission to make crypto accessible all around the world. That's why we love making videos for you that are packed with information, that are easy to understand and simple to share with all your friends and family members. So if you want more than just hype and to actually learn about crypto, make sure to hit the subscribe button right now, turn on notifications to not miss our future videos, and let's learn together. Is a DAO better than a corporation? It's undeniable that entrepreneurs like Larry Page, Sergey Brin from Google, or Richard Branson from Virgin have shaped the world that we live in today, perhaps more than anybody else. Entrepreneurs are the growth drivers of our economy, creating amazing products, lowering unemployment, creating less poverty all around the world. Entrepreneurs can structure their business in many different ways, but most are structured as corporations. Corporations are businesses that, under the law, benefited from limited legal liability, meaning corporation is legally distinct from its own owners, so that if it goes bust, the shareholders aren't personally responsible for the company's debts. As you're probably aware, corporations are top-down businesses, which means a group of people at the very top, the shareholders, the CEO, the CFO, sign off on all the decisions that a corporation makes. Corporations work much like they did back in the 1600s. They accept investors' funds in exchange for the responsibility for maximizing value for their investors and shareholders. However, this profit-driven mindset has also led to poor quality of life for many employees, as well as mind-boggling inequality across the world. In fact, the World Economic Forum estimates that the wealthiest 10% of people take home more than half of all income worldwide, whereas the poorest half, they just get 8%. So what if there was an alternative? DAOs are all about sharing ideas and wealth. They share several similarities with centralized organizations, but with a few important distinctions. Most notably, DAOs are community-led digital organizations without central authorities like CEOs, CFOs, or board members. Any member of a DAO can put forward a proposal which the other members can either approve or dismiss through a vote. A DAO is a fully autonomous and transparent organization, meaning it runs by itself without needing intermediaries to process anything on behalf of its members, and all of its financial transactions are permanently recorded on a blockchain. Smart contracts are the backbone of all DAOs. In case you're not aware, smart contracts are self-executing programs that run when the agreed criteria are met. For example, let's say an investment DAO's members agree to split the proceeds of any money it makes equally between its 100 members. They write up a smart contract which sets out the terms of the agreement, and the members vote to make the contract an official part of the DAO's operation. The DAO's members then decide to pool their funds to buy a business which pays the DAO $10,000 on the first of every month. So when the first paycheck rolls around, the DAO smart contracts send each DAO member $100 automatically. So there's no accounts departments nor their managers signing off on everything. The whole operation runs on publicly verifiable code and smart contracts. However, while the digital and blockchain elements of DAOs are certainly new, the decentralized and democratic nature of DAOs are not new at all. In fact, giving employees a say in how the business they work in is managed, as well as financial stake, is a practice which has been carried out since the first cooperative was founded in Rochdale, England in 1844. So what are cooperatives? If you've never heard of a cooperative, think of them as a brick and mortar DAOs. They're people-centered enterprises that are owned and controlled by their members. Whether members of the co-op are customers or employees or just people hanging out, they all get one vote on each proposal put forward by another member. Co-ops aren't owned by shareholders, nor they're beholden to the profit-to-all-cost maxim of corporation. They can focus on bringing every type of value to its members, not just financial value. Now, any profit that a cooperative has left over after paying out any costs and wages are either reinvested in the business or returned to their members as a bonus. There are more than 3 million cooperatives running today, and about 12% of people work for one or are members of cooperative. In fact, Mondragon, which is the 7th largest company in Spain, has been run as a co-op since 1956 and has an annual revenue of 12.1 billion. So who's to say that corporations are necessarily the only profitable way to run a business? Operationally, cooperatives actually share a number of similarities to DAOs. They're both democratically run, neither is run for the benefit of unknown shareholders, and both are managed in the interests of the people who actually work for them. But now, the question you're probably wondering is, why would the next generation of entrepreneurs want to start a DAO when they could just as easily start a corporation and most likely earn even more money? What advantages do DAOs offer entrepreneurs over traditional startups? Number one, low overheads and global reach. First up, a DAO has tiny overheads and startup costs when compared to a brick and mortar business, which needs office space, furniture, and pretty much other expenses, equipment to operate at scale. A DAO's low overhead and expenses are obviously a big win for startup founders and entrepreneurs, as there's less pressure on them to make a certain amount of money every month to pay for all the brick and mortar costs. Of course, it's not just office space equipment that a DAO can do without. It also doesn't need paid administrator, nor does it need to pay middle managers, supervisors, or HR managers, which are all taken care of by smart contracts. A DAO's heaviest overhead is usually developing the initial code and, if necessary, renting some server space for hosting a blockchain. But don't be fooled into thinking that because of its tiny overheads, a DAO must have limited capabilities or reach, because it doesn't. In fact, DAOs have global reach right from the get-go, because anyone, anywhere can apply for membership at any time. Number two, transparent and fair operations. A DAO operational rules are set out in either its code or its smart contracts, both which are viewable by anyone at any time. The rules are immutable, transparent, and publicly verifiable, so that anyone considering working for the DAO can check its rules and see if they're okay with them. They can see when they get paid and can even check that the DAO is paying its existing members, as all transactions are stored on the blockchain. Smart contracts allow entrepreneurs to safely interact with strangers all over the world the moment the DAO is up and running, without needing intermediaries to guarantee its members won't be ripped off. A benefit that quickly translates into rapid development without being stalled out by third parties and profit-seeking intermediaries. The other benefit of transparency is that a business owner can be sure that none of the DAO's members can skim cash from the company's coffers, or if they are, catching them will be incredibly easy. Number three, easier funding from the moment it's up and running. Any DAO can crowdfund its projects by creating and selling tokens, allowing it to draw in funds from investors all around the world. Clearly, being able to attract investors from such a diverse pool from day one is an enormous benefit for entrepreneurs, and one that is inaccessible for traditional businesses. Of course, a DAO could also go down the traditional investment route by sourcing funds from venture capitalists, angel investors, or investment banks. Multiple well-known VCs have put up billions of dollars backing DAOs and other blockchain projects. One of the DAOs that recently received backing from A16Z was Friends with Benefits, a social DAO fostering community of Web3 creatives and entrepreneurs. Explaining the move in a blog post, A16Z representative wrote that FWB has become the de facto home for Web3 growing creative class, and that by buying into DAO, A16Z is poised to capture some of the financial upside of the DAO's creative output. So we could say that DAOs have all the traditional avenue of investment open to them, in addition to crowdfunding through governance tokens. And let's not forget that token sales can require considerable less work to raise funds when compared to pitching 10 venture capitalists at the same time. Number four, a democratic business model. DAOs are democratic by design, meaning each employee, provided they hold some of the DAO's governance token, has a say in how a DAO operates, which is pretty much the exact opposite of how most conventional business owners manage their operations today. In fact, a recent study showed that a third of all employees don't believe that their boss is listening to their ideas. And most of us have experienced the feeling that we're overlooked or ignored to some degree, and it's not nice. But DAOs have better communication and collaboration built into their structure. And more importantly, employees know that their opinions and ideas are being heard. But how does democratic business and better worker communication help business owners and entrepreneurs? Well, first of all, and most obviously, they get to hear a wide range of opinions all the time and hear other employees critique those ideas before they need to look at them more seriously. So there's less chance that a great idea will never see the light of day. So now that we know what DAOs are and why the next Elon Musk might want to start one, perhaps the more important question is, can they even do it? Could an entrepreneur start a DAO today and run it like any other business? Well, thanks to the US state of Wyoming, entrepreneurs can run a DAO as a business and have it recognized by the US government as a legal entity. Last year, Wyoming Governor Mark Cuban signed Bill 38, which formally recognized DAOs as proper business structures and gave them the same legal power as limited liability companies. Obviously, being recognized as a real business and gaining limited liability marked a huge leap forward for DAOs, gave them a seat at the table alongside corporations, partnership, and other business structures. And if other US states or other countries for that matter give DAOs legal recognition and protection, we could see a surge of startup founders and entrepreneurs starting DAOs rather than corporations. Even Mark Cuban himself tweeted that the future of corporations could be very different as DAOs take on legacy businesses. DAOs are the ultimate combination of capitalism and progressivism. So what do you think? If you're an aspiring entrepreneur, would you want to start a DAO or a corporation? Comment below and let us know your thoughts.